Hello friends, welcome back to my library. I'm Miss Danny, and on Wednesdays here in my library we are going to read from chapter books. So we're going to start with The Magic Tree House, number 1, Dinosaurs Before Dark. This book is written by Mary Pope Osborne. So this time there's not a lot of pictures in here, so I'll just read a chapter or two each Wednesday of this book until we finish it, and then we'll start another one. So let's see what this book is all about. I'm so excited. Chapter 1, Into the Woods. "Help, a monster," said Annie. "Yeah, sure," said Jack. "A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania." "Run, Jack," said Annie. She ran up the road. "Oh, brother," thought Jack. This is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved to pretend stuff, but Jack was 8 and a half. He liked real things. "Watch out, Jack. The monster is coming," said Annie. And this one did have a picture. Jack didn't say anything. "Come on, Jack, I'll race you," said Annie. "No thanks," said Jack. Annie raced along into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. "Come on, Annie, it's time to go home," yelled Jack. But Annie didn't answer. Jack waited. "Annie," he called again. "Jack, Jack," shouted Annie. "Come here, quick." Jack groaned. "This better be good," he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with golden late afternoon light. "Over here," called Annie. Annie was standing under a tall oak tree. "Look," she said, and pointed up at a rope ladder. It was hanging down from high in the tree. "Wow," Jack whispered. At the top of the tree was a tree house, tucked between 2 branches. "That must be the highest tree house in the world," said Annie. "Who built it?" asked Jack. "I've never seen it before." "I don't know, but I'm going up," said Annie. "No, we don't know who it belongs to," said Jack. "Just for a teeny minute," said Annie, and she started up the ladder. "Annie, come back," said Jack, but Annie kept climbing. She climbed all the way up to the tallest branches. Here's a picture of that treehouse. Jack sighed. "Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home." Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. "Annie!" Jack called. Jack waited for a moment, and he was about to call Annie again when she poked her head out of the treehouse window. "Books!" shouted Annie. "What?" said Jack. "It's filled with books," she said. Oh man, Jack thought. He loved books. Jack pushed his glasses into place and he gripped the sides of the rope ladder and started up. Chapter 2, The Monster. Jack crawled into the treehouse. "Wow," he said. The treehouse was filled with books. Books were everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers, and new books with shiny bright covers. "Look," said Annie. "You can see far away." She was peering out the treehouse window. Jack looked out at the window with her. Below were the tops of other trees. In the distance, he could see Frog Creek Library and the elementary school and the park. Annie pointed in another direction. "There's our house," she said. Annie was right. Jack could see their white wooden house with its green porch. In the yard next door was their neighbor's black dog, Henry. He looked very tiny. "Hi, Henry," shouted Annie. "Shush, we're not supposed to be up here," said Jack. Jack glanced around the treehouse again. He noticed that bookmarks were sticking out of many of the books. "I wonder who owns all these books," he said. I like this one, said Annie. He picked up a book with a castle on the cover. Here's a book about Pennsylvania, said Jack. He turned to the page with the bookmark. Hey, here's a picture of Frog Creek, said Jack. And here's a picture of these woods. Oh, here's a book for you, said Annie. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue silk bookmark was sticking out. Let me see, said Jack. He set his backpack down on the floor and grabbed the book from Annie. Okay, you look at that one and I'll look at the one about castles, said Annie. No, we better not, said Jack. We don't know who these books belong to. But even as he said this, Jack was opening the dinosaur book to the place where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. Jack turned to the picture of ancient flying reptile. He recognized it as a pterodon. He touched the huge bat-like wings in the picture. Wow, whispered Jack. I wish I could go to the time of pterodons. Jack studied the picture of an odd-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah! Annie screamed. What? Said Jack. A monster! She cried and pointed out the treehouse window. Stop pretending, Annie, said Jack. No, really, said Annie. Jack looked out the window. A giant creature was gliding above the treetops. It had a long, weird crest on the back of its head, a skinny beak, and huge bat-like wings. It was a real-life pterodon. The creature swooped through the sky. It looked like a glider plane. It was coming straight for the treehouse. Get down, called Annie. Jack and Annie crouched on the floor. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to see what happens to Jack and Annie next. Thank you guys all for reading with me today, and I will continue this book next Wednesday. Have a wonderful day.